Are your Sims ready to jump into the complex craft of nectar making? From cultivating prized grapevines in the rich soil and hand harvesting only the most perfect of the fruits, to following traditional practices of pressing and fermenting in the nectar shed, and finally aging the finest vintage in the climate controlled cellar, the Nectar Maker's Cottage will have them savoring the fruits of their labor and turning a healthy profit too. Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to the channel. Today we're celebrating everything nectar making related with this adorable country cottage nestled at the top of Henford-on-Bagley on the Cordelia's Secret Cottage lot by the waterfall. Today's build comes in at a cost of 52,943 simoleons, and if you'd like to add this lot to your game, it's available for download from the gallery, and you can find it using my EAID or hashtag Hyggehaven. That's HYGGEHAVEN. So as you can see, I am working on the exterior and it's coming together really nicely here. I'm actually using a lot of items from Growing Together for this build that I haven't used so far, such as the doors and the windows here, and I think they look so perfect for this little cottage. So I was really happy with that choice. We also have the Growing Together columns and fence, and this shingle siding. I never use the shingle sidings in the game. They always feel like really shabby, but I used it today for this build and I think it turned out super cute. So clearly that's something that I need to be using more frequently. But we have mostly the basic shape coming on. And this little part at the top is not functional. It's not a functional room up there. I haven't made it possible for your Sims to go upstairs. So it's really just for the outside exterior look of the building. And it takes a little bit of fiddling for me to get it the way that I wanted it to look like. But we're almost there now. I almost have it figured out. I made it too big to begin with and then realized that was part of the problem, and then we shrink it down so it's only on the front and it works really well. And that's mostly the exterior of the building finalized by that point. We also swap out the windows here as well, and I don't know, I think it just came out super cute. I was going off this picture that I found on Pinterest that was really cute, and I think for the most part I got the house pretty identical to the inspiration picture. It's probably a little bit larger than the real life house, but obviously for functionality with gameplay, I wanted to make sure that it would house everything that I wanted and that your Sims would be able to route around properly and so forth. So that's the plan there. But here inside, I'm not quite finished the exterior, but I decided to work on the layout a little bit just because I didn't want to have to go and move a whole bunch of windows and doors later on if I wasn't happy with the interior. And I'm just placing down a couple of placeholder objects so I know which room is which. The interior of this build is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, the way that I have laid it out, but you could certainly change the formal dining room, which is in the bricked area here. You could certainly make that into a secondary bedroom if you wanted to fit more Sims in, like a small family or something. That would work perfectly well. And I'm also adding in a chimney here because I definitely want to use that new wood burning stove. It is so gorgeous, and I put it here on this little diagonal wall. Right now I'm just using the Eco Lifestyle one as a placeholder because I did actually start this build before having Horse Ranch. So you will see that I am going to swap out a lot of the items such as the fireplace, those columns and spandrel I'm going to change to Horse Ranch ones later once I get the expansion, but I did start this earlier, so that's why you're going to see a couple of changes. And I added a little bump out here on the back because the bedroom was feeling a little too cramped, and that worked really well. And then I did have this wood down, but I changed it out to stone, and I think that worked a lot better. And now we're moving on to this little shed because this is going to be the nectar shed. where your Sims are going to be making nectar. It's going to have the nectar press in it, and we put in a little garden in front of it. There are most of the activities with this lot are obviously centered around nectar making because that was the theme for this build. But there is, as I said, gardening, so your Sims can actually grow whatever they want to turn into nectar. So you do have gardening, nectar making. I do add in some bee boxes at the very end to also help with uh, pollinating your crops and your crop quality levels. We've got Patchy there to help you with your gardening. And then I also add in a picnic basket in the backyard near the end of the build so you can have cute little picnics. And I also think that this build would be really perfect if your Sims wanted to get into canning as well from the cottage living expansion. So I think that would be super cute to have as a little hobby, or maybe something that they, use as profit as well. I've also been meaning to mention that in the last several videos, I have been changing up my editing process a little bit, and I've been looking at trying not to edit my builds as heavily and keep more of the process included, because I know I've seen a lot of conversations in forums and comment threads on other people's videos, and a lot of times people say that they really enjoy seeing the process. So I would love to know, let me know in the comments if you are enjoying seeing more of the decision-making process, and if you'd like to continue seeing more of that. That would be really useful feedback for me to have. And I'd also love to know what other types of ranch or farm builds you might be interested in. So also let me know in the comments below about that as well, because I'm always looking for ideas. I have to admit, when Horse Ranch was coming out, because I haven't been super excited, like not as excited as I was when, say, Growing Together or High School Years was coming out, I was finding it really hard to be inspired to do some builds. I was super inspired with the barn conversion I did the other week, and I love how that turned out, and I love how this has turned out, and I was really inspired with this one as well. But for just kind of like your basic ranch, I've been really struggling with the inspiration. So let me know if you have any ideas, and it might help with my inspiration on that front as well. But here we're just doing the landscaping, and I really focused on a collection of specific items for the landscaping. So we have one giant lavender bush in front of what is going to be the formal dining room, which I love. And then I have a few foxglove plants, which are the taller ones, kind of scattered around. And then the rest of the landscaping I filled in with these pretty purple wild rose bushes. And then there are some orange wildflowers. There are the purple and yellow irises, and then some little clumps of black-eyed Susans, along with just some, low-lying shrubbery, flowering shrubbery kind of bushes from, I think they were from debug mode. And of course, we have to pop little mushrooms around because I love the little mushrooms from Cottage Living. But that was what I focused on for the landscaping, and I think it turned out really cute. I think, it kind of has like that wild cottage, it's maintained nicely, but it's not like super manicured look, and I think that worked out really well. And over on the side of the dining room here, that's just a big stone wall, I'm actually going to be using the climbing vines, which I never use, and I think it turned out really well. I also put in that little wood pile from Get Together, and this old little well that now has a little bush living inside it, so it's not a functional well. And there is the climbing flowers that I've added in. Like I said, I don't usually use these. Usually I opt for wisteria because I love wisteria, both in the game and in real life. But I'm really happy that I use these climbing flowers. I see other people using them in their builds, and they always look fantastic. And then I get insecure that I'm not going to be able to make them look as great as other people. But again, that's one of the things that, I wanted to combat with making the YouTube channel and posting and sharing videos is, to challenge myself and go out of my comfort zone. And I feel like that is really working. I I'm definitely feeling much more confident with my builds, and I'm really enjoying how they turn out. And I'm using a lot more of them in my own game as well, which has been really fun. So hopefully you agree and enjoy them as well. But obviously, if you have any feedback or any tips, I always would love to hear any tips if you have them. Do share them in the comments. I love reading that kind of thing. So we're just putting in some little grass and some little wildflowers kind of dotted around in the yard as well. Super, super cute. And I also added in this fence you'll see only on the one side because I wanted to look like, the nature and the lawn were kind of merging together. And actually, at this point in the video, I have now installed the horse ranch expansion, and you're going to see that here we are, we're adding in the nectar press, and we're going to start adding in all the horse ranch items for the furniture, which is awesome. I added in like a little kitchenette kind of area here because of course you're going to need to, keep things clean and do some washing up and things like that. But I used some very rustic color swatches for the counters in there, which I think made sense. And then I swapped out the wood paneling to one that came with the horse ranch pack because it is a little more worn looking. And then a couple of other items that I put in here were some of the storage boxes. You can see I put the larger one outside as well. We've got a couple of other items like a little chair and stool that Sims can sit on. Obviously, we have a sink for the washing. We've got a little barrel trash bin there. So awesome, just lots of little clutter things for your wine pressing, nectar pressing. And how great are these shutters? I love that now we have shutters that we can add to any window. We have been wanting that for so long. And I love this radio. My stepfather actually had a very similar radio that used to be in our kitchen. So I definitely had to add it in here as a little nod to him. He also loved a good bottle of nectar. So yeah, that was super cute. And then here we're adding in a nectar cellar so that once your Sims have grown the grapes and pressed them into nectar and bottled it, and by the way, painted ceilings, yay! Then they can go and age them down in the cellar. So that was the plan there. We're going to be decorating the cellar at the end of the video. But now we are moving on to the interior, but then I almost forgot to decorate the front porch, so we're quickly doing that. I knew exactly what I wanted here. I wanted that new bench. I wanted the new rocking chair with the pillow. I knew exactly what little plants I wanted to have here and the exterior lights. Those are the hanging ones from, I think it was Cats and Dogs. Yeah, Cats and Dogs. And I end up using them inside as well in a couple of areas, but I'll talk about that later. And then we get these little flower boxes, which is funny because, of course, I've taken all my mods out, which is a little bit shocking when I no longer have Better Build Buy. But I also didn't have Tool, and I was like, oh, I'll just size these down with Tool. Oh, wait, I don't have Tool right now. But luckily, they resized with the normal, size down keys to a good size. So that was fine. But I had a moment there where I was like, oh, no. But yeah, here we are in the kitchen, and I am using the new counters in here as well in this really pretty kind of ivory cream color. I do have a couple of critiques of the horse ranch items, not a whole lot, but I do have a couple. First and foremost, and I know James also mentioned this in his build buy overview, these counters are super cute and I love them, especially the corner piece with the little drawers and like the little bin receptacle area. But they don't have any clean swatches, and they really just needed like a clean white or clean cream with like a wood, either a dark or a light wood countertop, and that would have been chef's kiss perfection. But they didn't do that. They kept them all like rustic and dirty, and dirty swatches are great, but give us at least one clean one would have been awesome. So that's my one critique on the counters. Otherwise, I think they're gorgeous. Also, you see that I added in the horse ranch columns and spandrel. And my critique there is that I noticed, and it's very subtle, but it still annoys me, the spandrel and the column colors do not quite match. They are off ever so slightly, and I realize I'm being really nitpicky, but it really annoys me. And I went through so many swatches thinking that I did not have the right swatch, but I have tested them all, and they are all just a little bit off. I also, as far as like the furniture goes, why is there no cowhide rug? I was so looking forward to having a cowhide rug. Why did that not happen? Like, this was the perfect opportunity. And also, when I was decorating the back, I really wanted like Adirondack style chairs. There are none. How are there no Adirondack style chairs in a horse ranch, country, western sort of expansion pack? We need Adirondack chairs. Sim team, please, please, in one of the next expansions, because we know there's going to be more, please add in Adirondack chairs. I would really, really appreciate it. Anyway, the kitchen is finished now. I have talked over it. I put in a little bit of seating, and I didn't want it shoved up against the wall, so I've like brought it out and angled it a little bit, which I really quite enjoyed. And now we are on to the living room. I love these tapestries. If you've watched any videos previously, you might have known that I am a quilter and a sewer, so anything tapestry, textile related, I love. Can I also point out this lamp? I had a very happy mistake with this lamp. I accidentally like hit the rotate button while placing it, and I placed two, but they rotated ever so slightly, like a quarter tile. And I love how it turned the lamp shade like an octagonal kind of shape. Just fantastic. That was such a happy accident. And now we're moving into the formal dining room. As I said, if you want a secondary bedroom, then this would be a great choice, but I opted to make it a dining room. At one point, I also had considered turning it into a snug. So instead of having the living room where it is, putting it in here. But then I was thinking if I was going to use this as a snug, I'd want to put like a larger fireplace in here, and then you'd need like a chimney, or if you're going to be building realistically, you're going to want a chimney in there. And I loved how the side with the climbing flowers turned out, so I didn't want to put a chimney there. But I think it turned out as a really cute dining room. I do love these new dining chairs with like the tacks on them. I think that's such a fantastic detail. And in this cream, like this ivory color, they are just so beautiful. And we also put in some more nectar objects here. So we do have a nectar rack. There's the little keg that came with the Horse Ranch expansion. There is one that is, I think, base game as well, but I used the Horse Ranch one. And I put in like the little decorative wine bottles and this old camera and that little corner shelf. I like rarely ever use, but it turned out super cute here. And obviously we needed a grandfather clock as well. And I changed out the shoes for this little shelf area over here. And I put the chicken statue, which I absolutely love, on that one instead, because I also realized I wanted the radio inside the house as well. We have one in the shed, but we should have a radio in the house. So I tucked that in the corner of the kitchen. And now we are into the bedroom, and I also really liked how the bedroom came out. These beds, again, because I am a sewer and a quilter, these beds are just such a welcome addition. I love that they have the bed runners. I love the quilts and the quilted textures on the other bed. They are just so adorable. I love them. And this bedroom just turned out so bright and happy, and I would totally sleep in this bedroom. It's just so cute. I also really like that this wardrobe with the mirror on it functions both as a mirror and a wardrobe. I don't think we have a wardrobe that's like that in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems like it's a new thing, but I have tested it out with a little bit of gameplay, and you can do the mirror interactions as well as all of the wardrobe interactions that you would expect. So I think that's really cool when they can combine things like that. And then, of course, we need a little bit of clutter over on this little sideboard instead of a dresser. I do put down these little vase of roses here, but I end up swapping them out because I decide to use one of the barn quilt plaques on the wall, and I used a sunflower kind of swatch. And then I realized, yeah, that one right there. And then I was like, oh, there's sunflowers in the game. We have to use those instead. So I swapped those out. And yeah, I just love it. Turned out super, super cute. Now, as far as the bathroom is concerned, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about here. It's very basic. I do use this older style shower tub combo with the curtain. And then, I used the new sink that came with the pack, but I didn't want to use like the shower stall because honestly, that shower stall looks crazy claustrophobic. So we went with the shower tub combo instead. And we got the new like little bathroom cabinet with all the towels and everything, which is super cute. And I do end up putting the new wall lights in here as well, the hanging wall lights, which I will have in the hallway there, which you'll see. But off camera, I end up swapping them out to the same cats and dogs wall lights that I used on the exterior of the build because they're just really, really dim. And I just felt like the bathroom needed more light, honestly. I don't think you'd want to shower with that little amount of light. That seems dangerous. But then we've also done the painted ceilings for this level as well. And now we're down into the cellar. So we've got a little stone cellar down here, and we've got so many kegs. I do believe that these big kegs are just decorative, but I added a whole bunch of them in. We also have these like boxes of wine. I love the barrels. And then, of course, we needed more wine racks. So there are 6 of them. So you've got plenty of storage space to age your wine. I also added in like a thermostat, so you have a climate controlled area, which would be very important. And then I put some hay down here, like some straw rather, not hay, straw to, I guess, absorb moisture. I don't know. Whenever I see cellars, they always seem to have like, straw on the floor. So I'm assuming it's like a moisture thing. And then we are out in the backyard. Like I said, I put in a little picnic basket. We've got the new grill out there, and I put in a couple of little planter boxes here as well. And I also decided to add in the wash basin and washing line here, the drying line. Obviously, if you don't want to use laundry, then take that out. And I do go in and add a functional hamper off camera because I did not do that when I did the bedroom, but I have added that in, so you have everything you need if you do have laundry. And then just adding in the bee boxes and a couple of other little kind of outdoor gardening things as well. But that's mostly it for the build. So, if you enjoyed this video, a like is always much appreciated. And if you're new here, why not subscribe so you can come back and click that bell to be notified. But thank you so, so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. I had a blast making it, but I will leave you with the screenshots and have a lovely day.